that right?
This one what? Sorry. Ice. They're predicting it.
Randy heard ice. So
Yes.
On the ground.
Outside, right outside.
But only at 20 inches, so it's okay.
We don't have to talk about your results.
The JDB will be going on exactly when OT01. We're going to release there's some visitors at 1:30 is when we're going to display it as well. So it'll be a crazy 1:30 to 2:30.
May or may not, I mean, it depends on how long it takes to get the images. We don't be too hard.
We have charts.
Good charts. And
Welcome to WebEx.
Marshall.
Enter your access code or meeting number followed by
On
pound.
our side, is there somebody who has the answer?
That's what we sort of.
I know we verbally said that, but I wasn't sure if we had like any at all like in our procedure.
There was momentum on one thing that we did.
We just called it non.
Enter your attendee ID number followed by pound. If you do not know you,
Did I give you a number?
you're muted. You can press star 6 anytime to unmute yourself.
It's not the general limit.
It was the one you said.
Somebody just sent
Yeah, but I went into it and then once you're logged into it, you can get it.
What WebEx are we using?
Your WebEx, your cam commissioning WebEx?
It's the New York standing.
Conference room, can you hear us out there in the world?
Yes, Marshall found you.
Marshall, which WebEx is it?
It is the NERCAM team's WebEx.
I don't have that one.
John, you can put the link.
Hang on.
No, just during the integration time, you see the stars moving into that. And it was just huge. But then we sort of looked at these.
You're using a WebEx here.
We're using our WebEx.
Yes, right.
Oh,
Alright, put in your request, Marcia, we'll go do a run.
What do they call it?
I have no idea what we're talking about at all.
Did somebody mute everyone and mute all of us? Whoever muted all.
Patient 4 was normal imaging observation. The long-wave FCAs are alive, and but they're above their operating temperature, so they're basically railed. We can see the typical pattern we see in the warm aliveness images there. All 10 detectors are working. Based on the internal phase retrieval task, we made measurements of the LEDs, and based on the location of the LED image in X and the on-sky data we got last night, we had moved back towards the CV3 position about halfway.
And exactly the right.
Because there's a 0 values for this particular mnemonic in the telemetry stream, so we're not quite sure how we're going to deal with it. We can work around it for now. Not sure when it'll get fixed in the pipeline. Aaron Smith is waiting. And so what you're seeing is 18 images of every star in and out of the actual direct field of view from the 18 mirror segments. So if you look carefully, you can find PSFs like the one in the middle in the upper right. Some of them are not tilted very much, so they're more or less round. There's a guess that the blob of PSFs in the upper left quadrant at the very top might be the globular cluster in the LMC, all the images from one. Yeah. Who knows where the other ones are? This one, the SCAs are not in proper relative orientation, but it's the module B data. And you can see that there's no sign of vignetting. Yeah, this is the slope images with the, I think it's 4 integrations co-added, so it's about 400.
Like a ghost here, so.
Say it again.
Well, you notice they all have a shadow companion.
Scott minutes, so I think for this time of these dithers, some of these were moving enough that we'd see.
You should have did images.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say the drift rate again?
It was reported last night, it was 2 arc seconds per 15 minutes.
Thank you.
And how old is the visitor time?
There are leaders though. I mean, there are
So sort of half of that, so it would be like a.
Yeah, I don't
Oh,
think it's double
400, I
check,
thought
but
it was-
it's simply.
So March 2nd, these are.
We have multiple teams.
Yeah, I think it's a single point here.
Okay.
Some of them have a bit of.
So then, so I heard 400 seconds and 30 seconds.
Four amps, 105
Five groups,
seconds.
bright, one, 4 amps.
So, John, when you say the oblong, you mean the ones that look really cat scratchy?
Yeah, so that's a mirror that's tilted
But then getting a,
in the
Bunch of
90,
stars.
perpendicular to the orientation of those stripes.
okay.
Why was F70 fuzzier than this?
It is that fuzzier than that.
Yeah, I would.
Well, I'm not trying to get it exact, I'm just trying to see, does it seem consistent? We can check it
Yeah,
out.
I think it is, I mean, the, give me a second, I'll look it up.
But it also doesn't seem to show.
It's trying to say.
The 2 arc seconds is a little higher than I would expect.
So, because some of those do look like sort of double, double stack. It could just be we're out of focus and we're getting some structure. There's some, that's out of focus looks like that. It's not that it's doing anything.
But it could also be misregistered.
Anyway.
My sense is that even if there is, some images are more exposure time intentionally, it's all 1 minute rather than the 7-minute exposures.
So this was mosaic for both modules that were produced by the Wavefront team. Did you guys use a single integration ramp for this one? Is that why it's sharper? It does, I agree, I don't see the sort of double.
Yeah.
Was this a single integration?
It was the file, but
And that in 400 seconds, the first 2 integrations were here, and then the last 2 were over here, or the first 3 were 1. So that would give you a double in your smearing.
if there was a break in the, yeah.
Yeah, so
If
if
it
you
wasn't
just
a
use
continuous set of.
the 100-second exposure, you would be less susceptible to that, and if you pick the right one, you wouldn't have it.
Really ask the ACS people rather than my reporting what someone wrote in our shop report from overnight.
Was it the case in the previous one, just to be sure, that every one of them were doubled, or was it only some?
It looked like everyone.
Okay, all right, so it is something like that, it's some sort of drift, and we've got a bunch here and a bunch here, and that's why we're seeing.
Were those other ones put together from the pipeline?
And it may
or
be
from
that
the-
some
from the
images have more jitter than others, just stochastically.
But
We need to not overthink this
Right,
one.
but do we know the pedigree of that previous image? Who put it, how was it put together? Did it come out the pipeline? Was it run
This
with a
is out of the
local?
pipeline, it's the Cal
Okay.
file, so it's the co-ed of 4 integration layers.
So added full integration.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a full
So
450
it's probably
seconds.
subtly in there.
Yeah, so if this one is 105 seconds, then that's a pretty simple explanation for why it's
Exactly.
I think we used the
So
same.
we can look at rate versus rate ints, which are those products that have the individual integrations. So 100 seconds versus stacked to 400 seconds, and see and verify that if it is. We can see the single pizzas here moving moving around.
So during OTO1, it's going to be, which one, are we co-ed?
Look in the lower right, there's sort of.
5 arc minutes this way, and then.
But it's funny,
There's
you
still-
know,
Right?
It could be still
Yeah.
24 hours.
Be sure we're not hooked up down like right.
These two. I put too much money on this, but I mean, it's plausible those are 2 images of the same thing seen by 2 seconds.
Yeah.
Well,
So I got a little bit more. This is just a couple examples of images of our LEDs. So this is what we use to figure out the module B alignment for the shortwave. This happens to be from the A side. This is a D1 alignment, but the ones we looked at are all consistent.
Does the focus and spot size look very good, or is that really a pixel? 1 pixel, or are they?
it depends, but mostly it's.
So Brian and Ben here, they found that understand a bit more about the
We saw this in the simulations that I think it was pretty conservative, and some of the simulated ones wasn't catching.
Just looked to be about 10 arc seconds. And so it's very, very different here than these. And wonder if there's an explanation for why that happened.
You're talking about the LED images.
Yeah.
I also noted that those seem to have more image smear, and I don't know if the software treats them differently because they're supposedly an internal cowl rather than a pointed observation.
Do you know how long?
They were clearly.
I mean, if it was in
elongated
a couple
common
minutes
direction.
after a slew, that seems pretty feasible.
Okay.
Yeah.
But here, we clearly don't.
Actually, it'd be interesting to know how long after the slew and how much it, that'd be an interesting
Yeah.
thing to mine.
Yeah, there's a little,
I'd like to make a suggestion that we make this kind of 8-image visualization for all the exposures. And I think it just is a really useful way of seeing it, and that would be a way to see like the slosh you were just talking about, just make a time series of all the data.
I mean, if we could do that.
comment that the images that are not elongated like that we can see, when you look at the full at half max, that's very good. We're well within what we were hoping to get in terms of the focus, of, the positioning of the secondary mirror, the focus. Now, granted, the others that are elongated like that have a whole bunch of focus as well, so I'm not basing it on those, basing on the ones that are not tilted way off. Back and reconsider some of your
So the question is, if we're in the middle.
We're back closer to CV3.
We're closer to CV3, but what was the criteria? But
It was like 60 pixels.
That's about where we were.
Yeah. But
so we're gonna we'll detail.
we gotta get that. It doesn't affect your next activity.
Well, that,
We intentionally are going for a very bright star. Some of these might, but we have the workaround that was posted. We'll either get a real fix from DMS in the next 12 hours.
The position angle from the visited file that you suggested, Marshall.
Yeah.
Is that sufficient, or is there something that we can get out of the spacecraft to get the position angle? I mean, basically, we had it from SciUp, but indeed, I was
I
wondering.
think it is fine to use that because you can pull the spacecraft telemetry and tell you the mnemonics that is the roll, but this ACS thinks it's pointing at the field that OSS and APS-T have told it to at that roll. So within the errors, within the uncertainties we have.
Not on this, but on what we get today, it will.
After seeing this, we're very
Okay,
confident.
so when we get the mosaic, we're gonna be able to pattern match, even if we're not, even if we don't find a bright star, we'll know where we're looking, is the point. Pretty quick.
The header PAs would be solid.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to make sure. It's
One, if we're done, Paul's gonna present, but even if we're not done, anybody who's doing analysis, if you have something you wanna show on Friday, it's a good time to get the same team, plus anybody else who wants to, and we could start going through some of the things we brought up here, so Friday at 4:30.
So do we want to start with Marcia?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Since this time was pretty good.
Well, then that's good, because then we could do that, and then we could, bail if we need to.
Okay, so the feeling in the room is go for OTU 1. So online, you probably couldn't hear any of that, but I think that's the final answer. So.
the feeling is, congratulations.
How you feeling, Marcia?
A whole lot better than that.
Take your time, it's fine, yeah.
Real quick, hang on, before anybody leaves the room, okay, anyone going back down to the Wayfront office
perfect.
on
I
shift
need
or otherwise planning on being away from it, we